I'm gonna bust your head. 3 fight.
That's 11.
You gonna be 8 and I'm gonna scan your...
That's not just rap talk. That was Lil Jeff publicly bragging and updating his body count after chasing down Opps. The Bloodhound rapper set the bar too high. From tactically lying in the grass to ambush an op on arrival, to chasing a Trap City dude into their home, no doubt Lil Jeff was fearless and ruthless. But did he bite more than he can chew? Let's find out. Sliding for Z-Money. Z-Money's unfathomable death left a wound in Lil Jeff's heart that only blood can heal. It was a painful loss to the Bloodhounds, but most significantly to Lil Jeff, who had enjoyed Z-Money's protection since his brother, Jay Boogie, was incarcerated. The death of Z-Money not only severely damaged the street alliance between Trap City and Drill City, but also birthed a new monster on the street known as Bloodhound Lil Jeff. Just when the situation was cooling off, the rumors about Z-Money's killer's identity began to circulate. On Reddit, it was rumored that Z-Money was backdoored by his old friends at Trap City. Following the whispers on the street, Lil Jeff was restless and thirsty for blood and soon went out for a hunt. And Lil Jeff, he always had a target in mind. Lil Pooh, a Trap City dude who had been dissing Z-Money, was out on the street walking freely like it was Thanksgiving Sunday. He started showing up at familiar places, acting like everything was cool despite knowing that his name was being whispered on the street. But Lil Jeff was not one to rush. He always gave his targets time to let their guards down while strategizing on how to strike. On April 9th, 2023 was the D-Day. Jeff and the Bloodhounds had decided that Lil Pooh wasn't going to see the next summer. However, Lil Jeff didn't just roll up on Pooh and spray him. He instead waited for him outside his home, as patient as a watchdog. And when Lil Pooh arrived home to rest his head, Lil Jeff sent him to eternal rest. According to CPD, at about 11:30 p.m., shots rang out at the 1800 block of 223rd Street. As soon as they arrived, they found the victim, later identified as Pierre Boozer Jr., unresponsive in the front yard of his home. He was shot multiple times until he breathed his last. No one said a thing about the hit to the police, but the street knew who the prime suspects were. Then shortly after, Lil Jeff wanted to send a clear message. He dissed Lil Pooh in an unreleased song hinting that he waited outside his home and got him. Lil Pooh dissed Z now. Lil Pooh gone, you know. That never take too long laying in the grass until he come home, he rapped. Word on the street was that Lil Jeff never released the diss out of respect for his Flipside homie. However, when Lil Pooh's homie posted his picture, Lil Jeff sent a message saying he dissed Z. Lil Jeff was direct. No disrespect can be tolerated. You know, Z-Money was Lil Jeff's backbone on the street. He protected the young Jeffrey and showed him around the street. Unfortunately, on the 16th of March 2023, Z-Money was killed. According to news reports, Z-Money was in his car on the 1300 block of East 79th Street near the 79th intersection in Kimball. He was in the Avalon Park neighborhood in the parking lot of a dry cleaner store. There, the tragedy unlocked. It was reported that a car approached Z-Money in the neighborhood and began to fire shots in his direction. Z-Money was rushed to the University of Chicago Medical Center. Unfortunately, there he breathed his last. However, Bloodhound Lil Jeff did not just slide for Z-Money and went back to his shell. He had tasted blood and was craving more. Shortly after, Lil Jeff was out on the street again, chasing his ops to their early graves. The high school hit. One of the most popular moments Lil Jeff chased down Opps was the murder of BKN Lil Rob Monty, captured on camera. The tragic incident unfolded at the Innovations High School located in downtown Chicago in an area known as Loop. At about 12:30 noon, Lil Rob and BKN Monty were heading out of school for a lunch break towards Washington Street and Wabash Avenue. As busy as that location was, as soon as Monty and Lil Rob arrived, 2 cars pulled over and some armed men jumped out and began to let out shots, killing the BKN boys. According to CBS News, the boys were shot on the other side of this elevator structure just some inches away from the street, and surveillance cameras captured it. Surveillance footage shows Lil Rob and Monty casually walking toward the elevator structure, completely oblivious of the terror ahead of them. If you look to the right, you will see the moment a dark-colored SUV pulled up from underneath the train tracks. One person pulled out of the car, approached the boy in a frenzy, and opened fire on them. As soon as the targets are hit, the shooter rushes back to the vehicle and takes off towards Wabash and South, then turns left on Madison and escapes. Although the surveillance footage captured only one vehicle pulled up for the hit, according to CPD Deputy Chief John, 2 cars pulled up and fired multiple shots at a group of teenage boys.
When 2 cars pulled up and a group of individuals exited said vehicles, fired multiple times, striking 2 of the teenage students of Innovations High School. These individuals were taken to Northwestern Hospital where they succumbed to their injuries.
He also identified the victims as 16-year-old Robert Boston and 17-year-old Monterio Williams. The hit was strategic, swift, and terrific. Eyewitnesses said over 10 to 15 rounds of gunshots rang out, and within a split second, the shooters took off. Local shopkeeper Mohammed Ashik described the shots from his point of view as sounding like firecrackers.
Like a firecracker, like something like a firecracker, like a 10-15 shot.
If the shot shots sounded like a firecracker. That means that at least one of the shooter's pistols was probably equipped with a switch that sounded like explosives. The shopkeeper described ducking for cover while gunshots filled the air and the emotional aftermath of the hit.
Everybody looking right and left, over there has a people crying, kids crying,
Another eyewitness at the scene said she was grazed by one of the bullets while on the sidewalk to her studio. She spoke to news reporters and even showed them the bullet hole in her coat.
Went through my arm, but just like passing by. And yeah, here.
How are you feeling right now?
Super anxious and sad, and I was afraid that it hit me too by accident.
Most eyewitnesses described the hit as ambush style. At the time, the Chicago Police Department launched an immediate investigation to determine the motive for the hit and to identify suspects. It was a brutal hit and the entire city was mourning. Oh, not the entire city per se, because shortly after the hit, the mastermind of the hit would go on to brag about the operation. First, he hopped on IG Live and started making comments hinting that he just dropped 2 bodies, adding to his body count.
I feel if I get mad enough, will start happening. Y'all know this by now. I went for like a week and poof. Gotta go after that one. Poof. I came back. Poof.
For context, this comment tried to explain what Lil Jeff was talking about. He sat around mad, angry, and depressed for a week about them watches they stole from him. He blacked out. Lil Jeff literally just snitched on himself, and people were wondering why he was not arrested. The first reaction to the video was straight up the most asked question: how bro didn't get arrested? This user seems to have answered that when he said, everyone keeps asking how he didn't go to jail for it. The feds will let you sit and think that you got away with something like that. Let your money build up like your case, and they gonna get you cause solving a murder doesn't pay them that much as Rico's and drug case pay, so they gonna let you case build. The hit was so cold that many fans of the drill wondered why Lil Jeff chased down Lil Rob and Monty with such precision. I'll tell you why. Back in the day, Lil Rob and Monty allegedly robbed Lil Jeff of his pieces of jewelry. As disrespectful as that was, the boys would hop on the internet to start a spree of trolling and disses directed at the Bloodhounds. The BKN boys bragged about the robbery and claimed the jewelry they got was fake.
Tell the op. We talking broad day. You taking cell phones.
We got like 50K, damn! That fake AP they got.
Lil Rob and Monty flexed about the bounty price and showed off 2 watches grabbed from the hit. Hilariously, one of the watches was a fake iced watch designed to look like an original AP timepiece. Almost immediately, a Reddit user noted that iced out watch had a GLD logo on the clasp. It's an online jewelry store that specializes in plated jewelry, aka fake. When the news hit the street, Lil Jeff hopped on IG Live claiming that nobody took anything from him by force. The boys wanted to take a look and ran off when he wasn't noticing.
On my dead grandmother's head, if I'm lying, I'm down. God could come pull me out this car right now. I never took a dollar from
Nothing.
A nigga said, let me take a picture, this, that, and that. I look up, the nigga then ran down. We all the way at the top of the staircase first off.
Shortly after, a YouTuber, Word from the Trenches, would get Monty and some BKN members on his vlog, where they repeatedly flexed the watches they stole and bragged about the operation. On the same vlog, Monty got a FaceTime call from Bloodhound Lil Jeff. In the intense conversation, Monty started by asking Lil Jeff where the J at, meaning where is that jewelry, then proceeded to show off the watch he stole from him. All the BKN boys did on that vlog was disrespect Lil Jeff and troll the entire Bloodhound, and Lil Jeff doesn't take disrespect. Almost a year after the hit, the Chicago Police Department hit a milestone in their investigation and began making arrests. The first suspect was identified as Tommy Coleman, an affiliate of Lil Jeff and the Bloodhounds. He was arrested on the 5700 block of North Mason and hit with double murder charges. Then earlier this year, a second suspect was identified as 20-year-old James Allison, known on the street as JMO Bloodhound. Word on the street was that Lil Jeff was next on the line before his tragic death. However, while Lil Jeff's name became famous on the street around 2023, most people believe the rapper had been chasing down Opps since 2021, with references to when he chased down Lil Gutta. Lil Gutta was one of the earliest Opps Lil Jeff allegedly chased down when he started rolling with the Bloodhounds through his brother Z Money. Lil Gutta, real name Ronnie L. Sistrunk, was an alleged member of the crew. Hit Squad was chased down and killed on May 13, 2021. It was a regular day on East 79th Street in Chicago. Everyone was going about their activity casually, and so was Lil Gutta, moving around without caution like he had no enemies. However, Lil Jeff had plans for the OG and was waiting for the perfect time to launch. Lil Gutta was caught on the 700 block block of 79th Street, only a 4-minute walk from the intersection of Maryland. This is one of the locations that Lil Jeff and the Bloodhound have claimed as their territory in some of their videos. It was reported that Gutta had just checked from a store, and before he realized the danger he was facing, he was hit with multiple bullets, while the shooter took off and blended into the crowd. By the time police arrived, Lil Gutta was pronounced dead at the scene. Although there was no evidence proving Lil Jeff pulled the hit, the street never stopped whispering. No one was ready to talk because no one wanted to be next. However, the silence wasn't golden for Lil Jeff, because soon after, the rapper bragged about how he ran up on his next op, the Khalil hit. Although Bloodhound Q50 once mentioned that the 8 Trays were some irrelevant goofy, when Khalil 8 Tray Mob was shot and killed on the street, fingers were pointed at Lil Jeff and the Bloodhounds. Shortly after the news hit the streets, Lil Jeff did what he knows best, hopped on IG Live alongside Q50 and updated his body count. The footage shows Lil Jeff alongside Q50 and some dudes flexing guns and vibing on live Instagram. Although there is a loud noise in the background, you can hear Lil Jeff say that he is now counting his toes. Lil Jeff was trying to say that he has dropped more bodies than his fingers, but in case you don't get it, he made it even more clear.
I'm gonna bust it. 3 that's 11. You gonna be 8 and I'm gonna scan your.
As soon as his body count started to go viral on the internet, many people refused to believe the saga, saying Lil Jeff jumped off the porch at the age of 18, and how it's impossible to have many bodies within a short time on the street. But here's the thing, if the dude said he did, then he did it. Lil Jeff was a top savage. He was caught chasing down a random dude on the street for no reason. Lil Jeff versus homeless dude. A video circulating the internet shows Lil Jeff's controversial interaction with a homeless dude on the street. The footage generated a lot of reactions from fans, and I will tell you why.
I caught me some action. Yeah, what up, Joe? How you coming? You ever seen one of these? You think you can run from this? Get your back.
What did I just watch? Was my reaction when I first saw this video. It started off like a joke. I thought Lil Jeff was going to show the homeless dude some love. Maybe he was trying to give back to the street or something. However, all of a sudden, Lil Jeff pulled out his blick and started threatening the guy, unprovoked. I bet the homeless dude thought he was being called to some treat when he heard, "What up, Joe?" He then started pacing to the car until Lil Jeff switched to this.
I get out this car right now and you up. Now I'm just playing. Hey. I love you, Bleed.
Hold up, did bro just say I love you, Bleed? What kind of love is that with a gun pointed in my direction? Before you answer that, take a look at this user's reaction to the video. I think what makes this video sick is that to him, he's showing genuine love. Lil Jeff was wild for this. The dude just casually chased down another dude with a gun just to show love. However, the real fans of the drill know that was just a regular day for the Bloodhound rapper, unlike when he was out on the street to catch a real body. Trap City Leal's hit. Shortly after Trap City Leal was killed in an Uber, Lil Jeff went on a spree of disses, hinting that Leal's death was his handiwork. In an Instagram live with Q50, Lil Jeff bragged about how he chased down Trap City Leal and ended his life. He claimed that Leal's death was get back from when Trap City boys allegedly chased down Q50 and shot him in the leg. He came tough with lines like, "They shot my cousin but ain't kill him for some weeks straight. We was spinning, but the only difference is when got caught, we killed him." They were vibing while throwing L signs, which was a diss to Trap City Leal. Then later on, a song with Q50 and Lil Scoom, Lil Jeff doubled down on his self-snitching, saying, "When I ran up on that car, his looked up and he was stuck." Jeff was literally putting it out there that he chased down his op and killed him in cold blood. Trap City Leal's name was one of the names allegedly involved in the murder of Jeff's cousin Z Money, and you already know Jeff was always hyper when it came to his favorite cousin. As if snitching wasn't enough, Lil Jeff was caught on camera reenacting how he chased down Trap City Leal and unalive him. Damn, Lil Jeff gave the OGs in Trap City a run for their money. Just when you thought it was over, he was out again. Lil Jeff versus Trap City Glenn. Do you remember this iconic yellow short from the hit that took out Bloodhound Lil Jeff? As expected, the Reddit keyboard investigators have identified the guy as Trap City Glenn. Well, it turned out that day was not the first time Lil Jeff chased down Trap City Glenn, because it was alleged that Lil Jeff once caught Glenn slipping at a store and fired 15 shots at him. However, Glenn always survived a Lil Jeff ambush. Then a resurfaced video shows Lil Jeff talking about the time he chased down Glenn at the store, confirming the rumors on the street.
Yeah, I love that stuff. Too bad this ain't that. He get to see y'all. I'm glad though, he can see y'all talk about him all day. Cause should have died.
Well, 15 shots could have killed Glenn, but Glenn survived. A fan quickly commented, "Damn, that gotta be blessed FR. Grandma been praying for him type shit." However, Lil Jeff was bent on killing Glenn, and he was not going to give up after a trial, so he went out again. Last time Lil Jeff chased down Opps. Interestingly, the events of Lil Jeff's death are perhaps the most dramatic turn of events in the Chicago drill scene. Lil Jeff literally died trying to do what he knew how to do best, chasing down ops. I remember one of Lil Jeff's lyrics where he said every time he sees an op, he drops his mask and swings the door. The rapper never joked about a thing he rapped about. The last time Lil Jeff chased down ops was in the broad daylight of June 8, 2024. On that day, Bloodhound, Lil Jeff, Q50, and one other guy were caught standing on business. In surveillance footage that was later released, Lil Jeff and his gang were seen literally swinging the door and jumping off the car to smoke a rival gang member in the heart of Trap City. In the footage, which I can't show you in full because of its gruesome nature, the people in the black SUV are Lil Jeff's homies. They dropped out of the car and started firing shots at a young man on South Road Avenue. If you look closely, you will see that while the car was parked, the squad sighted the target and Lil Jeff quickly swung the door open and started letting out shots. The target, allegedly Trap City Glenn wearing bright yellow shorts, quickly ducks behind a car and eventually runs into the porch of a building while still being shot at by Lil Jeff. Hold up, I knew Chicago was a crazy place as soon as I saw Lil Jeff wearing a black Nike hoodie and gray Nike joggers chasing his target straight into their home where he met his end. Word on the street is that after Lil Jeff spotted Glenn, he went all in chasing and shooting at him. For some reason, his homies did not go with him. They stood by the car while letting out shots at the gray car. As soon as Lil Jeff hit the target, he chased him right into the porch like it was in the movies. However, a bleak tragedy was just about to unfold and Jeff was too passionate to see. The rapper and killer, who had fantasized about chasing an op into their home numerous times in his music, finally fulfilled his fantasy, only that this was a one-time only experience for Lil Jeff. Someone from the house counterattacked Lil Jeff, sending him out head over heels with bullets to the ground, and there lying lifeless was the man called Bloodhound Lil Jeff. The word on the street was that Lil Jeff's shooter emptied the whole magazine on him. In the same video, Q50 and the other guy could be seen running to the porch trying to cover Lil Jeff, but the shooter rained hell that the two had to settle for finding a way out of the crossfire. And that was it. There lying dead on Trap City's front porch was Lil Jeff. He was reportedly shot 19 times before his homies could circle back and retrieve his body. It was no surprise that Lil Jeff died while chasing down ops. As expected, fans of the drill culture and other users of the internet reacted to Lil Jeff's death in different ways. One comment quickly pointed out, "The energy you put out always comes back to you." Another user added, "Trying to chase somebody into their own house off the street is the ultimate crash out move." Well, I bet Lil Jeff thought he was face to face with his fantasies, but the street had one important question: who was the shooter? As soon as the news of Lil Jeff's death hit the street, the city of Chicago was startled by a series of trolling on the Reddit community, with most of the disses directed at the hood, allegedly responsible for sending Lil Jeff back to his maker to protect their own. Someone said, "Trap City is in danger forever now." While the trolling was ongoing, some people were dedicated to identifying the man who rained bullets on Bloodhound Lil Jeff. As expected, the members of Curicology, a subreddit for discussing Chicago drill culture, wasted no time identifying the killer. 2 days following the murder of Bloodhound Jeff, discussions on Curicology alleged that the shooter was none other than Trap City Rob. This is largely because Trap City Rob, or iTrap Rob, has been arrested several times at the apartment where the shots that took Lil Jeff out were fired. Dramatically, within a short time, a Photoshop picture of iTrap Rob holding a football award began to circulate the internet, with most people praising him as the Defensive Player of the Year. Simultaneously, Rob's photo was going viral with the caption, "Wanted." On June 16th, Curicology featured a new post showing Trap City Rob's photograph barely a week after Lil Jeff's murder. Within the hour, some people observed that in that picture, Rob was wearing a shirt that appeared to be a troll to Jeff and how he died. However, tracing back to the roots of the matter, there was a time when Trap City Rob used to hang out with some members of the Bloodhound, as throwback pictures show Rob in a pose with Bloodhound Vert and another man whose face I'm not familiar with. Interestingly, to set the narrative straight, Trap City Rob, or Unc Rob as he's been called today, was granted an interview in the hood to say his part of the story. Reddit users refer to Trap City Rob as Unc Rob, largely because of the age difference between Lil Jeff and Rob. Apparently, while Lil Jeff belongs to the Gen Z set of Chicago rappers, Rob is evidently older and more likely a millennial, hence he is referred to as Uncle Rob. Rob, alongside his day one homies, Terror and OTF Black, were filmed standing by the porch while observing their left and right for any possible threat. Interestingly, Rob opened the interview by denying his internet-imposed status of being the OG shooter who took out Lil Jeff.
Hey Rob, man.
I don't even think you need no introduction at this point, my boy.
I do, man.
Okay, for sure.
Trap City Rob considered it necessary to begin the interview by clearing out the rumor about his involvement in Bloodhound Jeff's murder because, at the time, the investigation was underway. However, documents show that Trap City Rob, born Robert Coleman, was arrested in connection to the homicide. Authorities believe there was probable cause for the arrest of Trap City Rob because a witness identified and placed him at the crime scene where the shooting that killed Lil Jeff Jeff took place. According to the document, surveillance officers spotted Trap City Rob entering and leaving his apartment on S. Rhodes Avenue armed with a black firearm. It is important to mention that the surveillance officers were aware that Trap City Rob was a convicted felon and gun offender who was not supposed to own a firearm at any point in time. According to the report, when the police officer tried to get Trap City Rob under custody, Rob pulled away and refused to follow verbal instructions. He used dead weight to stiffen his body, making it difficult for the officer to handcuff him. The report states that Trap City Rob left the officer no choice but to employ control techniques, escort holds, and emergency takedown to get the arrestee in custody. However, following Trap City Rob's arrest, a series of reactions and rising controversies erupted on Reddit. One user commented, "I ain't well versed on Illinois self-defense laws, but it is insane to me that anybody would be charged with murder in this situation. Was it because they kept shooting him?" In a shocking turn of events, an investigation into Trap City Rob's involvement in the homicide failed to prove that Rob was the actual shooter. As a result, the murder charge labeled against him was dropped. But because he was caught with a gun as a convicted felon, the gun charge would stick and he will probably get some time in jail. When the news began to circulate that Lil Jeff was killed by iTrap Rob, a fan declared he killed Lil Rob. Now he got by Big Rob. Although a funny remark, it goes to show how there is no way out of gang violence other than death. But here's a big question. If the police drop Trap City Rob's murder charge, that means the shooter is out there. Who could that be? I stumbled across the words of a Reddit user, which I'd like to leave you with. I said, Rob ain't pulling. The real shooter we will probably never know because they are lying low and not publicly claiming it. If you enjoyed this video, click the card showing on your screen for more videos.